it is 9:30 Cotton Cuts time, and I am here with a fantastic guest host today. Hi, Lincoln. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fantastic. So Lincoln is my other child. I know we spent a lot of time with Dominic, the boy who sews, but this here is Lincoln. Lincoln is just as awesome as Dominic, don't you think?
Yeah.
You think? Oh, I was going to say, that's what I was waiting for. Lincoln is our creative behind the scenes guy. He does so much fantastic work designing for us. If you were a floral states detective, you were sewing instructions designed by this guy, checked by me, of course. But he does fantastic work. If this been wow, what do you mean? Wow?
Taking the credit.
You're a teenager. That's what I'm supposed to do. Anyways, and for this video, he's actually the person that's going to be assembling it all together and getting it ready for you because we are not live today. We're not live today, are we?
We are not live. We are pre-recording today. Today's Monday, and we're pre-recording for
Thursday. Yes, because Thursday is New Year's Day. And so we have, our house is filled with 12 people right now, real time when you guys are watching this. And so there is no chance, well, maybe we would want to sneak away and shoot a video, don't you think? Depends on how it's going in our house. All right.
Chaos is about to descend.
Yes. And so what we can tell you is today is really, really darn cold outside. Yesterday had an all-time high in St. Louis ever for the month of December at 77 degrees. And then it plummeted 50 degrees. And this morning, when I was out working out, it felt like -1.
It's cold.
Yeah, it's darn cold. Yeah.
I didn't feel that cold this morning, but I feel like it's definitely a lot colder.
Yes.
Probably just because yesterday was really warm.
Yesterday it was very warm. All right. So welcome to December in St. Louis. All right. You ready to get on?
Yes.
Yes. We've got a fantastic topic today. So today we're going to do what we usually do, kind of our first-ish January show. We're going to talk about forecasts and trends in the quilting industry and things that we're seeing, things that are emerging, things that could give you inspiration as we look ahead to projects and things we have planned for 2026. Now, in a couple weeks, we will give you the Cotton Cuts lens and things that are coming that are new on the Cotton Cuts calendar. But for this, we're going to take quilting in the capital Q and take the backwards lens. And so I've got my creative, forward-looking kid here helping me out with that today. So Lincoln, are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. So we're going to start as we always do with questions that have been submitted by you guys. Go to cottoncuts.com/live to submit your questions. These are here. These were actually prepared for us by Dominic this week. Dominic pulled them. I mean, I feel like he's like pulling the strings behind the scene just to keep us on our toes. Do you think do you think you might throw something at us while we're recording this? I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not.
I hope not either.
There's a good chance he does, though.
You just never know, right? All right. So Dominic picked these questions that were submitted at cottoncuts.com/live. And so our first question comes to us from Gail W. And Gail asks, do you ever sell the patterns of past PMQs? I just saw a completed Tree of Life in the Facebook group and would love to be able to sew one, even if it means I have to cut things myself. Okay, so Gail, this is a great question. We get this question all the time.
It's a fantastic question. And I personally think you should definitely ask her because she's
ask me.
But I really like the Tree of Life quilt, and I feel like if I saw it, I would want to buy it.
Yeah, Tree of Life is a fantastic design. So the challenge we get asked this question a lot, is we've just made a puzzle mystery quilt and we want to make the pattern. And so it is actually a significant amount of work to take those monthly clues and convert them into a standalone pattern because we have to provide a ton of cutting instructions. Then we have to completely rewrite all those instructions, right? Could you imagine rewriting all of those instructions? Because we jump in and we've already given you the parts. So we don't have to write all the descriptions to pull all the parts that you need to make that actual individual clue. And I know some people are like, well, just smash them all together, right? It's that easy. Yeah. You've done some quilt design. Is it as easy as just smash them all together? No, there's actually a lot of formatting that needs to go into it. And so these are one of these things that we've always asked our designer, Sheila, to help us out with, because she's the one that does all the design work. She's the one that does all the brainchild behind all of it. But the problem is we're always like, at the end of a mystery, we're always working on the next 3, right? And so we've got one resource, we have a time challenge. Maybe perhaps this can be a summer project for you. Maybe I can get someone who might be a creative genius to work on this. I think this is a fantastic idea, Gail. This is something our team looks at all the time. It's just unfortunately something that we haven't really had the resources to be able to go back and do, but I think it might be a fantastic idea for an intern or perhaps a friend of an intern who might have some creative free time, right? I think it's a good idea.
Or a brother of an intern.
A brother of an intern who is also an intern. All right.
We can stick this one to Dominic.
Dominic. Dominic is not Nope.
Dominic.
So if we want it to never happen, we will ask Dominic to design it because that's not his jam, right? Not his jam.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's go to our next question. Let's see here. So our second question comes from Beth Suzanne, and she asks,
how has your quilting practice evolved over the past year, and what surprised you most about how your creative journey has evolved?
So how's your quilting practice evolved over the past year? So I think for me, right, personally, like we can talk about this personally, is my creative is I am enjoying things where I can sit and sew in a short time frame, right? I think I'm out on I've got a big project and I'm gonna go to the store and I'm gonna buy fabric and I'm gonna bring it home and I'm gonna cut it and I'm gonna sew it. And I am taking on this monster Herculean task. I think 2025 is the year where I'm really getting down to just like it's a bite-sized piece, right? It's something small, it's something achievable. I think the lifetime achievement projects are off my list. I think I've grown out past those. I know there's a lot of, the Dear Jane blocks or the 100 days, 100 blocks. I don't think that's my jam. That doesn't motivate me anymore. I'm definitely in a small, self-contained, small win type category. What about you?
I feel I've been surrounded by quilting my entire life, especially with mom. I've never really been much of a sewer, but I'll definitely say I've evolved into a household in life where I like to sew and definitely like to sew with my mom.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I know. And he got to help me teach my nephews how to sew at Thanksgiving. He was there and helping them, iron safety. And when you've got a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old, you take that for granted, like that they don't know how to iron. So you have to teach them how to iron and iron safety and little things like that, right? That I get joy in that. That was a lot of fun. All right, Beth, that was a fantastic question. Thank you so much for that. All right, so we're going to go into our newest segment, which is tell us what is on your sewing table today. Now, understanding today is New Year's Day. It might be empty, or it might be reality, which is here's the remnants of all the projects you've been trying to get in before the end of the year. And so share with us in the comments what is on your sewing table today. If it is clean and sparkling and you are starting January 1st in a nice, clean, inspirational space, like, wow, I'm impressed. Yes.
I would not want to do that in New Year.
You would not want to have a clean space at the first of the year?
I'd take care of it a few weeks after. I don't want to do work at the New Year. I just want to relax.
Okay, yeah. So this is the teenager, right? He is clearly on winter break. He is sleeping in till super late in the day. He is in the I am in my break phase. And so, yes, I get it. January 1st would be a break. It's like time to take a just relax, exhale, and then get ready, right? January is also, and I mentioned this last week, January is the month when I take my sewing machine to get serviced too. So there is a self imposed kind of break for your sewing machine because when we take it, it's usually about a month to get it serviced, maybe 2-3 weeks, depending on. But that's a mandatory, okay, we're not going to be sewing anything this time of year. Fantastic. All right. So share with us what you're working on today. Maybe perhaps it's cleaning and organizing and developing a plan for 2026 when it comes to your creative projects. That is a fantastic use as well for your table. All right. So let's talk about what is the team working on. So nothing has shipped since we last spoke. Well, Clue 6 shipped. That went out right for Christmas, and the snippet shipped. And so what is the team working on right now? What do you see them cutting right now?
I see them cutting the Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreamers, Puzzle Mystery Quilt, yes.
I see them die cutting and packing, pretty much just knocking that out of the way right now.
Yes, so the team is full-fledged on Field of Dreamers. They are crushing it. These 2 weeks, as I mentioned before, we've got high school and college kids that are fantastically filling in the shop, and so we are motoring. Emily runs our shop floor. They are absolutely crushing it. They are so far ahead. It is fantastic. Yes, it's nice.
They're doing an incredible job, and they're being extremely productive.
So yes, so for all of you Field of Dreamers detectives, we're going to start kitting those up and start shipping those in January. If everything continues as planned, it looks like we might actually be able to get most of them out. Of course, there's always those unknown variables, you guys, the things we can't control. So A, sickness, B, weather, right? C, weather, D, weather, E, weather. Yeah. I mean, it's January, you guys. It could snow tomorrow and shut us down for a couple of days. And so those are the things we can't control, which is why we try to work as hard as we can when it's 77 degrees outside. So that way we can plan ahead in case we do have the uncontrollable B, C, D, and E's of the world. Yes?
And
Okay.
we can't control A.
I mean, right, we can't control if someone gets sick. Absolutely true. Right. Okay, let's see here. We also had our blowout sale. It's been going on for the past couple days. And so that ended on December 31st. And we did our fun daily drop, which is still going on. So if you're watching this show, the daily drop still goes on. It doesn't end until January 2nd at midnight. And so the daily drop, it was a fun. Do you remember what the Dutch auction is? I talked to you about this a little bit.
I remember the main part where you start the item, it goes for auction, but then every day the price like drops slightly.
Yes. So every day since December 26th, we've been posting a bunch of fabrics on the website. So these are all 5-yard cuts. So this is a fantastic length for a backing of a quilt, or just to have on hand in case you want it. And just, I mean, frankly, if I love fabric, 5 yards is actually probably a pretty good cut, especially at the prices that the auction are going at. So it starts day one at $50, and then it drops $5 the next day.
$5 next day.
And
$5.
Yes, until it's completely gone. And so it's actually been fun to watch this over the weekend, because do you buy it now or do you wait and hope it's available tomorrow to save money, right? Would you buy it today or would you wait until tomorrow if you saw something you liked?
It depends on how much I liked it. Because if I really like it, I'd definitely buy it today. It would be worth the price. But if it was something like I'd be glad to have, but don't really need, I'd probably wait for the cheaper price and hope nobody else takes it.
Right. I know. It's fun. It's been fun to watch. Like, and we had one day where I logged in and all of a sudden, like all like 10 of these SKUs were gone, like in a day. Like clearly, like we hit a sweet point and people were like, yes, those are ours. And it's fantastic. It's been fun to do that. So thank you guys for participating. If you have not been, go to the website now, because there are some that are up there that I think are $30 and $35 for the 5-yard cuts, which is a fantastic steal for fabric, right? Just go to the website, go to
Here's the link down here.
Yeah, so you're editing this video. You know we can't put the link on this video, right?
Oh.
Maybe you can. If this one, here's the challenge. If this one can figure out how to put the link there, the link will be there. And it's cottoncuts.com. If you go to the top, it's Fab Shop Hot Blowout Sale. And then it's also daily drop. So we'll probably edit it to be daily drop. But this one's going to figure out how to do it. And if he can accept the challenge, it'll be on the video when you see it.
Yep.
All right, we do have something fun to announce for Field of Dreamers. So I know we're talking about die cutting and packaging and shipping and all those fun things that go with it, but we are bringing back something that we did for Tree of Life. And so if you participated in Tree of Life, which we've talked about at the top of the show, we had a tree that we populated with leaves that were submitted by everyone that was participating, and we built a community Tree of Life. And so we loved that concept so much that we're going to bring it back for Field of Dreamers. And so what we have to show you guys today is an empty night sky. Lincoln, please, Vanna. Hold on, sorry about the chair noise. And so what we have an empty night sky. And everyone that participates in Field of Dreamers in your prepaid box or in your Clue 1 is going to be receiving a little scrap of fabric. And we're going to ask you to cut it out into the shape of a star and add it to our night sky, which you guys can see behind us. And so what we're going to do is we're going to populate our night sky with dreamers. We are inspired by you guys, and we want to make sure this Vanna hand. And we want to make sure that you guys are all part of our Field of Dreamers, of people that join us for the Puzzle Mystery Quilts and sew these incredible projects with us. So if you are part of that program, be on the lookout for your Clue 1 and your prepaid box. Thank you, Vanna. That was fantastically well done.
You're very welcome.
Yes. Did you notice how with the darker background, like our lighting changes completely?
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about that. Okay. Let's see here. And so, yeah, that's pretty much what we're working on right now. So what we're going to do now is flip into our main topic of today, which are quilting trends for 2026. And so Lincoln's going to ask me a couple questions. We've done some research on some things that we have seen, some things that other people have seen, and we're going to be sharing that with you guys to help you be inspired as you look at 2026. Don't forget to hang with us till the end. I will have a question that if you answer it when you spot this video, you will be entered to win a $25 gift certificate from our shop, which will go a long way towards helping to support the trends that we see in 2026. All right, so Lincoln, take it away.
So we're talking about the new year and getting into new things. So what are you seeing? What's happening in the quilting world right now? heading into the new year?
Okay. So for many, many, many years, one of the major trends that we have been seeing is called modern traditionalism. And so we have this as one of our enthusiast categories. Are you a modern traditionalist? So this is taking a traditional quilt block like a star or a log cabin, and it is converting it into a modern theme. So that's either redesigning it to be asymmetrical, that's applying modern fabrics to it versus traditional fabrics. So we've seen this trend of modern traditionalism. A lot of blocks where it has white as a background and then a color as a pop. That's a modern traditionalist take on a traditional block. However, so that's still continuing, and we'll still see more of that. We'll still see kind of resurrecting old patterns, old blocks, and applying brighter fabrics or high contrast fabrics or using different color as backgrounds. But what I am going to see, what I am forecasting as a trend for this upcoming year is I'm going to flip this and I'm going to say it's traditional modernism. And so instead of us taking traditional items and making them more modern, we're going to take modern things and make them more traditional. And let me explain how that is a little bit. So we're going to take the asymmetric pieces that came out of modern quilting and going to start using traditional fabrics with them. So I know that for a lot of quilters out there, modern quilting has traditionally been a Tula Pink, Allison Glass, like bright and bold and big cave facet. That is what modern quilting has been. However, it's starting to shift more into colors. And we're going to talk about this in a little bit. More of the sages, more of the browns, more of the butters, more of the colors that we would traditionally associate with reproduction fabrics. Those are becoming more modern. And so what we are going to see in this next year is a lot more modern blocks using what we would traditionally define as traditional fabrics in them. And so we've seen this in a couple different ways. And we've seen this with the Mystery 5.0 and with Bonnie Hunter's Mystery Quilt this year. And so those were asymmetrical, they were the half rectangle triangles, which is traditionally an asymmetrical modern block because it's not symmetrical. Do you know what a half rectangle triangle is? It is a rectangle.
Oh, yeah.
That's because like I sewed a bunch of them, right? It's a rectangle that is cut on the diagonal. It's a half rectangle triangle instead of a square.
Yeah.
Right. And so that is traditionally a more of a modern block. But what we're seeing is those modern blocks being sewn in traditional fabrics. Same with, I'm seeing a lot of friendship stars, It's an asymmetrical star versus what we would consider more of a traditional block, which is a symmetric star.
Which one's the friendship star?
A friendship star is, I wish I was at home because they're the coasters that we use at the house, the gray coasters. It has a square in the middle, and then imagine it has the half rectangle triangle coming out of it. And so the points aren't like a perfect triangle, they're slightly askew. I'll draw you a picture afterwards. But okay, he's gonna draw it based on my words. Now we're gonna get a chance to see his creativity. So it has a square in the middle, and then a square in the middle, and then it has a half rectangle triangle coming out the top. But more of a stronger point up here.
Stronger point.
Stronger point to go. Okay. This is fantastic. We get to see creativity in action today, people. So
it's like
up.
And so then, this is the longer side.
Yeah, half rectangle triangles. Okay, now repeat this shape around all four sides. So Lincoln's going to draw us a friendship star. But I am seeing more of these shapes, more of these asymmetric modern shapes being used in traditional fabrics, being used in colors that we wouldn't have considered traditionally modern in the past. And so to me, I think 2026 is where we're going to see a lot of that starting to kind of evolve and merge and come. This is, all right, people. Let's see. There you go. That's a friendship star right there, buddy. Ignore this line. That was his accidental first, but this is a friendship star. So you can see it's kind of a traditional block, but it's a little different. That's the modern interpretation of it. But we're going to start seeing more of this in more traditional fabrics. All right. Let's see here. And then also something that I think we're going to see a lot more of is improvisational piecing. And so we've talked about this in previous shows. So improvisation, am I keeping you awake? Are you not enthralled by improvisational piecing?
I'm tired.
Yes. So improvisational piecing. So it's more freestyle. And I think this gets towards, people's wanting to use more of their scraps, wanting to use more of their stash as the cost of fabric goes up. we can't necessarily be as kind of wasteful as we've been in the past. And so we're using every last scrap. And if that means I have to, you know, sew all these pieces together to come up with a creative keyboard binding, I'm going to use that instead of going and buying a yard of fabric and paying $15 a yard for it. Yes. So a lot more improv, and improv is coming because of this challenge we're having with access to fabric and cost of fabric. And so when people, you know, necessity is the motherhood of invention, right? And so in a world where you can't necessarily go and buy all the new fabric you want, you're creating this improvisational piecing.
Great answer.
See, my kids are funny. My kids are funny. All right. Let's see here, right? And it's all about creativity and using what you have. And you know, one of the things that I really like about these two kinds of trends is that there's no right answer, right? That it's you can be here or you can be here, and everything is fantastic in the quilting world. There is no right or wrong answer. Okay.
Fantastic.
You want me to read what your line is supposed to be?
I like that. So what else are you seeing?
All right. So, you know, I talked a little bit about color, right? And so in a world where quilting is defined by color and trends, just like every fashion industry, clothes are trends and it's color and it's forecasted out 9 months in advance. When I'm looking at collections that are going to be released this year, I see two very opposite camps emerging. And it gets to this, are we modern in a traditional definition of modern, or are we in a new definition of modern? And so I'm seeing bold, saturated, big colors, but then I'm also seeing muted earthy palettes, something I would have considered 1970s, 1980s versions. You guys know the basements with the brown carpeting and the green couches. There's a lot more of these muted earthy type palettes that are coming to the forefront. And we've seen that for about 2 years now, but the grand millennial type concept. So we're seeing this huge stark contrast in color. It is definitely not a trend that's going one way or the other, but rather one is getting equal voice to the other. And we're going to see a lot more of this. Now, from my perspective, that can be a little bit of like whiplash. Like you're in a quilt shop and it's like, are we bright and bold or are we earthy and neutral? And then when you see them together, it can be a little catastrophic as a quilter, right? Because it is overwhelming, right? Because there's nothing really in the middle. And I think that's probably the trend, is that for quilting, there's very little in the middle. It's either one or the other. And I feel like that's also in this world, right? It's either one or the other. And I think we're seeing that in quilting, that these camps, they're no longer, the Venn diagram doesn't overlap. You know what a Venn diagram is? Yes, surely you know what a Venn diagram is. Okay, he's going to draw me another Venn diagram here, people. All right.
We tore the paper.
Oh, tore the paper. Yes. So in the Venn diagram of these color families, they're starting to emerge as two separate camps. And so we're going to see very, very little in the middle.
Overlapping circles.
So we're going to see a lot more of this like separation with very little in the middle. And so if you are that person that's like, hey, but what about pastels, right? Or hey, what about something that lives in the middle? It's going to be harder for you to find. Just like we went through a patch of like 8 years where it was really, really hard to find a true green. Everything was aqua teal or turquoise. I feel like we're going to have this kind of drought where anything in the middle between these two competing families is going to be very hard to find.
So what have you been seeing about these techniques that have been being used? Are there specific techniques gaining traction, losing traction?
Fantastic. So for me, the piecing, the thing that I'm seeing a lot more enthusiasm around is English paper piecing. And I feel like English paper piecing was having a moment about 5 years ago. And like everything was English paper piecing. It was all English paper piecing all the time. And then it hit a little bit of a lull. And I feel like people did it, they tried it, and they were like, yeah, we've done it. And it kind of dipped a little bit. However, in 2026, I see a lot more English paper piecing coming back in. And I think, and it's interesting because when it was in its peak, it was all hexagons. And then we got all funky, crazy shapes. And we did all like, you saw my English paper piecing projects, right? The lion's head. It was like any crazy shape. We were English paper piecing.
Wasn't there a raccoon one or something?
Yes, there was all sorts of crazy shapes. But what I'm seeing now is more back to the basics on the English paper piecing. And I'm seeing a lot more sew-alongs and a lot more projects with just a basic hexagon. And I'm seeing more accessories and accoutrements coming into the market to help with just a basic hexagon English paper piecing. So I think in 2026, we're going to see a lot more of that coming into play. versus some of the other things that like a foundation paper piecing. I feel like English paper piecing is going to start to displace that just a little bit. I love foundation paper piecing. It's not going anywhere. It's one of those things I love to do, but I do see a lot more English paper piecing where it's been in a lull since. All right.
Okay. So I feel that is an incredible notification, or I don't know the word, but update on where English paper piecing as a technique is. Now, so now that we've talked about all those things, modern traditionalism, improv, piecing, English paper piecing, what else? Like, what more is there in the quilting world?
Well, I think when it comes to projects, and we started out with kind of the evolution of my year as well. I do see that there's going to be a lot more mini projects. I feel like we're getting back into a world where there's a little bit more balance in our time and our priorities. And the idea of taking one project and it consuming you for a full year, I think is something that we're putting more on the shelf. Right, in a post-COVID world where we don't have infinite time, I'm seeing a lot more mini quilts. I'm seeing a lot more table runners, a lot more placemats, a lot more mini quilts, a lot more table runners, things that can be made and achieved in a quick fashion versus the like long block of the month that's very intricate and several $100s. So I'm seeing a little bit of transition towards mini quilts. And then I'm also seeing quilts being defined as more of a fine art. And it's interesting to see these days, if you open your Facebook feed, the number of quilted coats. Who was it? I think I saw what Jalen Reed was wearing a quilted coat to an NBA basketball game. He's a basketball player, right? Come on now. You're a sports kid. I should have asked Dominic this question. Okay, so it's one of these things, like he was wearing a quilted coat to a basketball game, right? When did you ever think you would see a professional athlete wearing a quilted item before a game? And so it's becoming more of this kind of cool-ish thing to be used like at the Met Gala. It's more fashion and it's being treated more as art. And I feel like all of us are going to benefit from that because it's going to increase the value that people will place on our projects. It's going to increase the value on the craftsmanship, and it's going to increase the value of the overall craft the more that it is seen as more mainstream and less what it traditionally has been, which is me sewing a quilt that you're going to put on your bed, and that's as far as it goes. Yeah.
So if you had to sum it up, what's the vibe of 2026 going to be? Where's it heading?
Right. So for me, when I was looking at this question, I was thinking if I could pick one quilting word for 2026, what would it be? Like if I had one word that I could pick to sum up where I think 2026 is going to go, and I think my quilting word is going to be possibility. And so I think that gets to the, we've got a lot of these things going on, but they're creating more opportunities. They're creating more opportunities for us to try new things differently, and to try just really anything. Because quilting is a space where it doesn't matter what you like and don't like. There's always going to be a space for you in the quilting world. It's a form of art. It's no different than people who like pastels versus paint versus markers, right? There's a place for everybody in the quilting world. And I think that 2026 is really about possibility and leveraging and learning and growing together and really kind of advancing where quilting is today versus where it will be in a year.
Fantastic answer.
Thank you, Lincoln. I appreciate that. All right. So I think what I would love to is what do you guys see as trends coming up in 2026, right? We've talked before about sustainability and how sustainability, I feel like that's one of those things. It's not necessarily a trend. I feel like sustainability is here to stay. It's something that's near and dear to our hearts, something that we prioritize here at Cotton Cuts, and making sure that, we're being sustainable and acting in the best interest of all of our waste and all of our other goods. I also do think, virtual quilting had its peak in the pandemic, right? A lot of people were joining on Zoom, were joining things online. And I feel like that's, again, something that's here to stay. There was some thoughts that after the pandemic, when people started gathering in person more, it would decline. But I think now they're equal parts. The in-person quilting as well as the virtual quilting, I think everything has its place because people are still disconnected. There are people that live in rural areas that don't have access to a quilt guild or a quilt shop. And so that virtual need is still there, regardless of whether we're staying at home or whether we're able to go outside of our home, depending on the COVID situation. So I feel like we've created something new that has an equal place to what existed before. Yeah. All right. Fantastic. All right. Do you have anything to add? Any trends that you've been seeing in your space?
No, I haven't really been keeping up with the world of quilting, so I haven't seen many trends, but I'm definitely going to be looking into the quilting world this upcoming.
Yes, you better for your summer internship. He will
Mhm.
definitely be looking into that. Okay, so that is it, you guys. I would love to hear what you guys are thinking. So our question for the end of this show. So
Can I
find
do
this
that today?
video. You want to read the question?
Mhm.
Okay, hold on 1 second. So find this video on Instagram or on Facebook or on YouTube and answer this question to be entered to win a $25 gift card to the Cotton Cuts shop. So Lincoln, what is the question they have to answer?
What are you looking most forward to in 2026?
What are you most looking forward to in 2026? This can be literally anything, guys. It doesn't have to be quilting related, but tell us what you're most looking forward to and why. And if you advance the clock a year into the future, what will you have accomplished this year, right? If you can go, yes, what are you most looking forward to accomplishing this year? I think this is a fantastic question. All right, you guys. So let's recap. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we are going to be hosting a YouTube live sale. And inspired by the word of the year possibility. It's going to be new year, new possibilities. We are going to have a bunch of 5 1-yard cuts of fabric that we are going to be selling to you guys in a YouTube live fashion. It's always so much fun. Dominic's going to be here with me. We're going to be looking at fabulous curated bundles of fabric. Don't forget, you have to register for that show. This one here is going to edit the video, and he's going to put in the link to register right here when he edits it, and we will get you all set up for that live show. Let's see here. Have you seen a live show before, Lincoln, one of our live sales?
I think so. I think I've been sitting by the table when we're done.
Yes, it's pretty chaotic, isn't it? There's a lot going on. It's okay. It's always so much fun. You guys never know what we're gonna pop up, and it might be something that gives you a new possibility in 2026. Don't forget, our daily drop is still going on, and Field of Dreamers signups are still open. So if you guys are looking to get on it, if you want to join our Dreamer Night Sky, make sure to go and get your kit at cottoncuts.com. Did I miss anything today, kiddo?
I don't think so.
All right. Do you have anything else to share with everybody?
Happy New Year.
Oh my goodness. These kids are always full of surprises. Look at this little toy this kid got, right? I remember back in the day when it has to be like the little blow thing that would come out. Now we've got this complex bellows thing. Don't you dare do that again. Don't you dare do that again. My kids, the clowns, the jokers. All right. That is it for us, gang. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Like we said, this is pre-recorded, but our team will be watching and answering anything that you guys might have. So please do ask. That is it for us. Everyone have a fantastic new year. We will see you tomorrow at the live and get lots of sewing done this weekend. Bye now.
Bye. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. And cut. Thank you so much for watching our video. We have so much fun making these, and we hope that you were both delighted and inspired by what you just watched. This video was sponsored by Cotton Cuts. Cotton Cuts is your one stop for all the best fabric and thread memberships. Love fabric? We've got you covered. Love thread? We've got you covered. We get that no 2 quilters are cut from the same cloth, which is why our memberships are as unique as you. We also have the largest block of the month in the world. Over 4,000 detectives solve our puzzle mystery quilts every year, and you can join them. Simply go to cottoncuts.com to learn more about all the awesome and fun things that we're doing. And don't forget to hit like and subscribe to make sure you get all of our new fresh content every time it comes out. Thank you so much. Happy sewing enthusiasts.